Ba is the beginning of Bismillah. Ta is for taqwa, bewaring of Allah. And Tha is for thawab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Ha is for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage. Kha is for Khatam, the seal of the prophethood given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new episode of Ask Zad, coming to you live from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Our first question for the night is from Brother Muhammad. He says, I have a question that how can we define modesty, known in Arabic as haya, as the misconception is in the minds of people that modesty is all about just covering the entire body through wearing the hijab or the parda. So give us in detail the authentic concept of modesty. This, Brother Muhammad, requires a lecture. And alhamdulillah, I had already given such lectures in the past. You'll find that on YouTube. Also in Ramadan, if I'm not mistaken, in our program called Our Values, there was a segment on this topic. And haya, modesty or bashfulness, is a feeling that either Allah grants you as a favor and blessing from Him to practice it, or you train yourself into being a person of bashfulness. So it can be either one. And it refrains you. It hinders you, it stops you, it prevents you from doing anything that may tarnish your reputation, anything that may draw criticism unjustly and unfairly to you, anything that may be a reason of punishment on the Day of Judgment. And Brother Muhammad was referring to women in particular. But bashfulness is not only for women. It is a characteristic of our religion. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu, for every religion, there is a moral conduct that stands out. And the moral conduct of Islam, that Islam is known for, is bashfulness, al-haya. And this is exactly what happened when our fathers, our parents, Adam and Hawa and Eve, ate from the forbidden tree. They saw their private parts, and it was revealed to them after it was concealed. So they rushed to cover their awrah with the tree leaves. And this is why they descended to earth, because of that sin of eating from the forbidden tree. The problem is that if you look at the primitive inhabitants of the jungles and those sophisticated, civilized people living in the capitals of the world, in New York, in London, in Milan, those who walk on the catwalk, as they call it, you'll find that the common denominator between both of these primitives and those sophisticated, civilized people is nudity, is the lack of bashfulness. They don't have any shame. They don't have any modesty. So this is why they fight niqab. They fight hijab. They oppress Muslim women who abide by it. If you strip naked, this is okay. This is beautiful. Everybody enjoys it. But if you were to be modest and bashful, this is totally out of the question. And in Islam, it is not only what you wear that defines you. It is a great part of your identity as a Muslim. But it is also your way of behaving and talking, the way you're present in the community. So a woman wearing niqab, wearing full hijab, but she posts her video clips, Snapchats, shots and pictures of immodest things, even if with her husband. This is contradicting with haya. A woman's identity is in her bashfulness. Islam is the only religion that protects women, that honors their bashfulness and their modesty through various measures that must be followed. Allah Azza wa Jal orders women to wear the hijab, the full hijab, to protect women from men looking at her. Allah Azza wa Jal protects women even from an irresponsible word that may slander her or may tarnish her reputation. So anyone who says such an irresponsible, slandering word would be flogged by 80 lashes unless he brings 4 male Muslim witnesses to testify that she committed fornication or adultery. Islam protects a Muslim woman and the non-Muslim women as well from even any sort of physical contact. I cannot shake hands with someone who's not lawful for me, though people think that shaking hands is okay. It's a sign of respect, yes, but not with the opposite gender. And this doesn't end. So if you go to London, Europe, shaking hands is common. If you don't, they're insulted. Who cares? If I go to Spain, kissing on the cheek is common. And if I don't, this is insult. What is the limit? Islam puts the limit. Protection of the man and of the woman. Mixing with your cousins, with your non-mahram relatives is prohibited in Islam. To safeguard the women and the men in the community, let alone mixing freely with the opposite gender who are not related to you. A woman is prohibited from leaving the house wearing perfume, and it's a major sin, so that she would not lure and seduce other men when they find her scent. It is even prohibited for a woman to wear an anklet that makes a sound, so that when she walks, people or men may listen to that sound, and shaitan may throw something in their hearts about this woman, how beautiful she is, how the anklet may look, how her foot is. Shaitan is there. Islam prohibits a woman from softening her voice when speaking to the opposite gender. Allah Azza wa Jal says, if you fear Allah, then do not be soft in speech to men, lest he in whose heart is disease should desire, covet, but speak with appropriate speech. So all of this shows you that Islam highly regards bashfulness. Yet, unfortunately, the enemies of Islam have noticed this. They've learned this. And they know for certain that you cannot defeat Islam until you corrupt half of the society, and that is corrupting women. And this is what they're doing and striving to do in all Muslim countries. The call of freeing women, empowering women, that they are equal to men. And we know the consequences of such acts, and we can see that clearly in Muslim and non-Muslim countries, because they went against the law of Allah Azza wa Jal, and the consequences are crystal clear. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect all Muslims from such things. Fahzan says, if a person goes into a contract where there is a late fee for example, buying broadband internet, they get into a contract that has late fees. Has the person committed a sin, or is it when they get a late fee penalty for delaying the payment is when they are committing a sin? First of all, late payment fee or penalty is prohibited because it is an interest given in exchange for delaying the payment of a loan. I'll give you an example. I am a tenant in a building. Every month I have to pay 1,000 euros for the coming month. If I were to be late, so I postponed the payment of this month's rent by a month or two, and there is a clause in the contract that states that I have to pay 200 euros as a penalty for such a delay. This is riba. This is different than a penalty given to a construction company, for example, for delaying delivery. Meaning, I give my money to a contractor to build me a house. And in the contract, it states that for such money that I'm giving him in advance, he must deliver by the 1st of January 2020. 1st of January comes and the house is not finished. There is a clause that every month he's delaying the delivery, he must pay, or I must deduct from the final payment XYZ. And this amount is as a compensation for his delay. Now, he agreed upon this in the beginning. I agreed upon it in the beginning before signing the contract. And this is saving my right to get my product on time as he committed to the time schedule. This is permissible as long as the penalty is reasonable. So if the whole project is €1 million and I request every month that he gives me 200,000 euros, in 5 months' time he will have zero. No, this is not fair. It has to be something realistic with the delay. So a penalty of 5,000 to 10,000 euros a month is logical. So these are two cases: late fee penalty, and then these penalty on constructions. There's a third, and it's not a penalty per se, but rather it's a cost of a service. For example, I have a mobile phone, and at the end of my month, I have to pay for the previous month. So this is postpaid. There is another service which is prepaid, which you pay in the beginning of the month. You have XYZ amount of minutes. Now, if I consume my minutes before the month is over, so I have like 5 days left, the company offers me, because now I cannot make any phone calls, it's cut, I cannot dial. So the company says, listen, you have 5 days that you don't have any balance in. I will sell you talk time or airtime, XYZ minutes, but for a price that is higher than usual. So instead of paying €1 for 10 minutes, we will charge you 1.5 euros for 10 minutes. And we will sell you 50 minutes, 100 minutes, and you agree upon that, and they will charge you for it next month. Is this halal? Totally halal. Why isn't this considered to be late payment penalties? No, there's no penalty. They are selling you minutes. So I have minutes, I have a pen. I can sell it to you now for $100, and I can sell it for someone else for $120. Both of them are paying cash. No one has the right to say, why are you selling him cheaper than me? Why are you selling me $20 more than him? This is my pen, I can sell it. This is my company, this is my airtime. This is different than lending someone. So the payment of the rent is due today, but because you're unable to pay it, I'm going to increase 20% over it because of the delay in payment. This becomes totally haram and riba, and I hope this makes it clear for all of you. Sultan says, I had taken student loan and later came to know that this is not permissible. What do I do now? Student loans are very common in Europe and the States. And there is the government or the private sector would finance your study. So for example, in the UK, every year they give you, I think, £9,000. And they say that you take these £9,000, pay your tuition fees to the university, the second year, the third year, the fourth year, you graduate. If you work and your income is less than £21,000 a year, then you're not obliged to pay us. But if you get more than that, you have to pay back the loan with interest. Now, no doubt that this is riba. Any loan given to you with the condition of returning back with an interest is riba. أيما قرض جر نفعا فهو riba. And it is not halal to say that this is from the government in the form of benefits. This is not benefit. They're making money out of it. It's not halal to go into a contract, signing it, and saying that, yeah, I know that I'm not gonna work, so I'm gonna take the money and I won't be obliged to pay them. And once I die, they take it out. Or once, after 25 years, I think, they scratch it out and it's not there. No, this is not permissible. Your signature on the contract, allowing them to take riba if you get a job that is more than £21,000 a year, is agreeing on a major sin. And this is like someone saying, listen, I'll give you 100,000 as a loan, but if you fail to pay it, I know I'm going to pay it. But if you fail to pay it, I'll chop your hands off. Or I'll take your son as a slave. And you say, okay, no problem. Nobody says that this contract is halal or what you're doing is the right thing to do. On the contrary, this is totally prohibited. So now, if you had taken a student loan, this depends on the stages you're in. If you took it the first, second, third, or fourth year, not knowing that it was haram, there's no sin on you, none whatsoever. Because the sin is related with knowledge. Someone who does not know, whatever he commits out of sins, he doesn't know the ruling, Allah will not hold him accountable. But if this is your second year, already you have taken a year or two loans and you did not know. Now you came to know and you still have the third and the fourth year to continue, and you can't continue without taking a loan. Can we take a third and fourth loan? The answer is no. What to do? Well, this is something you have to come up with. Either you borrow from Muslims and finish your third or fourth year, or don't work at all. See, people come to a crossroad, come to the fork of the road. Either obey Allah Azza wa Jal, or we have to obey our whims and desires. People come and say, Sheikh, I can't afford to buy a house cash. So can I opt for mortgage? They'll take XYZ percentage every year, and I have to do this. This is the necessity. So, ma'lesh, is it okay? The answer is no. So, Sheikh, what would I do? I said, what would you do? Pay rent till the rest of your life. There's no problem in that. I said, yeah, but this is a lot, and I need to keep something for my family and my children. Akhi, you want Jannah? This is the route to it. This is the road to it. You want hellfire? Be my guest. But you cannot compromise. Riba is haram. And this is not a necessity. You can pay rent till the rest of your life without any problem in that at all. So the same goes with your student loans. If you came to know that it is haram, you have to stop immediately. Do I have to return the money? The answer is yes, this is a debt. But return it whenever you are capable of doing this. And as long as they're waiting, inshallah, you have no problem in that. But don't go for any new loans. We have a short break. Stay tuned. And inshallah, we'll be right back.
محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Good news! After the success of previous courses, by Allah's grace, Zad Academy is pleased to announce that registration for its 8th consecutive course for 1440-1441 Hijri is now open until all places are filled. Zad Academy offers a great opportunity to study Islamic sciences easily through our free online educational platform. Please note that once all available places are filled, registration will be closed immediately. You can find all information about the Zad Academy program at www.zad-academy.com.
Allahi wa barakatuh. Today we're going to talk about the book Interactions of the Greatest Leader. The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam raised their moral by mentioning the virtues in the hereafter. Abdullah bin Amr ibn al-As radiyallahu anhu reported that the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Do you know who will be the first to enter paradise among Allah's creations?" They said, "Allah and His Messenger knows best." He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The first that will enter paradise among Allah's creation are the poor muhajirin that are used to close the gaps that are fed for in the stronghold, and they are the ones that protect against evil things. One of them will die with his need in his chest, but he is unable to fulfill it. Allah the Almighty will say to whomever He wishes among His angels, go to them and greet them. The angels will say, we are the residents of your heavens and the best of your creation. Do you order us to go to them and greet them? Allah will say, they were slaves that worshipped me and did not associate anything with me in worthy. They were used to close the gaps that were fed, and they were used to do away with anything evil. One of them will die, and with his need in his chest, but cannot find any way to fulfill it. So the angels go to them at that, and will enter on them from every door, saying, peace be on you for your patience, and excellent is the final abode. Reported by Ahmad. Al-Albani ruled it authentic in his book, At-Ta'liqat al
محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah and welcome back. In the break, I was watching the ad for Zad Academy. And this academy is only for those who can speak Arabic, which is a shame. But hopefully, inshallah, if we get the proper financing and if things go well, we will try to do it in various languages. May Allah Azza wa Jal make that easy. I was fortunate to participate in Zad Academy as a teacher in the first batch, which was 4 semesters. And I was blessed by Allah Azza wa Jal to give the 4 semesters subjects related to the seerah, the shama'il, and the way the Prophet ﷺ dealt with different segments of the society. And it was a beautiful course. And when I look at the other teachers in the different sciences of Islam, highly decorated professors in universities, I was the least of them, alhamdulillah, but I was blessed and honored to participate. And when you see the participation from the people all over the world, from Indonesia, from Morocco, from Europe, from US, from Canada, from Syria, from Egypt. It's mind-blowing. There are almost 70,000 students at the moment. Those who graduated are approximately ranging about 20,000 graduated. The fun part is that it is all based on Quran and Sunnah. 7 subjects you take every semester, given to you by professionals who know what they're doing, scholars of Islam. They teach in Saudi universities, PhD holders. And it is totally free. And that's the fun part. No registration fees, nothing. You don't pay anything. All what you have to do is know Arabic, and you have to be punctual, because there are like quizzes every week, and there's material to watch, and material to answer, and to note down. And so many people I met who studied and benefited enormously. So if you know Arabic, seize the moment, take the chance and register, and inshallah in a couple of years of time you'll feel and sense the difference. Iqbal says, I see that the disbelievers have improved their standard of living and we, the Muslims, have not. I want to know if our religion asks us not to be rich or wealthy. I don't want to be poor, and also I don't want to leave the Islamic values. Iqbal, akhi, you have a problem, because it seems that you need to clean the lenses of your glasses. You're not seeing things clearly. When you say that the disbelievers have improved their standard of living while the Muslims have not, question number 1. Hypothetically speaking, that this is true, though it's not, are you accusing Islam? That Islam is pulling its subjects down and preventing them from excelling, improving, progressing in their standards of living? Definitely not. Is it the disbeliever's religion that tells them to excel? Definitely not. We know of the Dark Ages and what the church did to Europe and how they prosecuted science and scientists. In Islam, we don't have this thing at all. On the contrary, Islam promotes, encourages, and asks scientists to excel and to progress. Secondly, what disbelievers are you talking about? Go to Burma, go to Nepal, go to India, go to China, go to Africa, and look at the disbelievers there. Are you happy with their standards of living? Don't be fooled by only Europe and America in thinking that this is their standard of living. The Arabs, the Muslims, all over the place are also wealthy. They have universities, they're progressing, they're developing, they're trying their level best to restore some of their old glory 3 or 4 centuries ago, and they're succeeding, they're doing a good job. So why are you looking only at the poor part of the Muslims? Thirdly, if you look at the seerah, we know how the Arabs were. Once they accepted Islam, once the Prophet ﷺ migrated to Medina, 10 heaven-bound were the highest in rank to the Prophet ﷺ and in Islam. Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, Abu Ubaidah, Amr ibn Jarrah, Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, Urwa ibn Zubair ibn al-Awwam, Talha ibn Ubaidillah, Sa'id ibn Zayd ibn Amr ibn Nufayl, Al-Adawi al-Qurashi. 10 of them. And if you look at each one of them, you'll find that 5 or 6 of them were multi-millionaires. So when you talk about Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, he was the millionaire. When you talk about Uthman ibn Affan, no one came close to him. When you talk about Abu Bakr, he freed half of the slaves who were Muslims and set them free for the sake of Allah. He gave his money and wealth to the Prophet ﷺ. If you look at Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, if you look at Zubayr ibn al-Awwam, who when he died had more than 4 million in his wealth, and they were the best and the cream of the cream. So they were not poor, and never ever the Prophet ﷺ told them not to work or not to make money. On the contrary, he said to Uthman once, Bakhin bakh. May Uthman do whatever he wants, after he donated some wealth to finance the army of Tabuk, on the battle of Tabuk, or when he bought the well of Ruma, or when he did this, when he did that. So many things he had done, and the Prophet ﷺ gave him a carte blanche. Do whatever you want. So your observation, Iqbal Bhai, is totally bogus, not true. Islam tells you that the upper hand is better than the lower hand. So when you give, which means that you're wealthy, is better than when you beg and take. So Islam tells you, yes, work, make money through halal means. Make money and spend it in halal means. Make money, but don't let this be your priority. Your priority is the hereafter. This is your target. This is your objective. But if making money would distract you from going to Jannah, to paradise, then you have to balance, because this is your priority. What use is it if I have my private air jet when I don't pray Fajr in the masjid, when I deal in riba, interest, usury, when I cheat, when I bribe, when I lie? What use is my mansion, my cars, my airplane, my bank account? All of this would be means of torment and punishment for me in my grave and in hellfire. May Allah protect us. A sister says, I'm going through divorce by force because my husband says he never loved me and he's involved in extramarital affairs, and it's been 2 years I'm in this. I did everything in my ability, from being abused by his parents, asking polygamy, till giving up my rights. We have a son who's 2.5 years, 2.5 years. I accept the decree of Allah as a Muslim. Sometimes I'm in rage and tears. Please advise something which will soothe my heart. Well, my daughter or my sister, this is a test from Allah Azza wa Jal. There's nothing you can do as long as you have done all what you can in order to fix this problem. If your husband is someone who does not fear Allah, there's nothing you can do. Someone who abuses you, who talks bad about you, someone whose family is against you, someone who has extramarital relationships, this person is scum, with all due respect. So it is a lost cause. And for you to hang by a thread in such a relationship and still want to go on, this is not logical. I know that you may have some feelings towards him, but these feelings might need to be filtered. Sometimes a woman in an abusive relationship, such as yours, has feelings because he's the first man she had ever known in her life. He's the father of her child. There is, or there was, some good times in the relationship. But a logical woman must weigh the pros and cons. Yes, if you don't have anywhere to go after a divorce, you have to tolerate such abusive husband, because this is the least of the two evils. If you believe that there is hope in him being fixed, this is a different story. But if he's a hopeless case, and you know that, then he's not even worth a tear that you shed over him. Such a person is scum. He is rubbish. He's trash, with all due respect. I don't know you, I don't know him, so this is not backbiting. And it's okay for me to say that, inshallah. You have to hold your grounds, move on with your life. You're still young, and he's not worth waiting for. And if his family are oppressive like him, so subhanallah, like father, like son, or like father, like mother, like son. This is not a good relationship to be with. So try your level best as a last resort to get mediators, to get someone to arbitrate between you and him, to find a common ground that maybe would give you some hope. But if there is no point in continuing, then just leave and never look back. And inshallah Azza wa Jal, Allah would substitute you with something better. Brother Abdullah from the UK.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu wa barakatuh.
Hope you're right, Sheikh.
Alhamdulillah. What can I do for you?
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I have two questions, Sheikh, today.
Yes.
The first question is, can a Muslim chairman, who is the head of the masjid, tell to a particular brother that you are not allowed to give adhan or lead the salah in the masjid?
Okay.
The ruling on that, the first question. The second question is, when I greet brothers who are speaking, who are having a gathering and speaking, and I give salam to each one of them, if one brother gives a salam, but he looks at the other brother while busy talking, and he just gives the hand and says salam alaikum, but he's not focusing towards me, but he's busy talking. What's the ruling on that? Does he have to look at me and give the salam, or is he can look somewhere else and give the salam at the same time?
Abdullah, are you giving salam to each and every one individually by saying assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, assalamu alaikum, or you just said assalamu alaikum and you shook hands with everyone else?
I gave it. No, I'm giving everybody, each and everyone,
Okay.
on the gathering.
I will answer you, inshallah. So, Brother Abdullah from the UK says, if the chairman of a masjid prevents someone from giving the adhan, does he have the right to do this? The answer is yes. Akhi, we cannot have the masjid to be in chaos, or anyone who comes in gives the adhan at any time he wishes, without knowing whether, one, he knows the beginning and the end of the times of the adhan, so he has to have knowledge. Two, is he qualified? Is his voice nice and beautiful? Three, does he know how to give the adhan? Four, do we know him in the masjid? So imagine that I go into a masjid and I just go straight to the microphone, turn it on. Allah, who are you? I'm a vigilante. I am someone who's interested in giving the adhan. I love the reward from Allah. Yes, but you cannot come to my masjid and give the adhan just like that. So there has to be order. Likewise, sometimes I've seen this in some masjids. The adhan is given, people are sitting, reading the Quran, praying. After 15 minutes, all of a sudden, someone stands up, give iqamah, and he wants to lead. And he's not the imam. And he's not even from the masjid. Akhi, what are you doing? He said, well, it's late, 15 minutes. I have some errands to do and I have to leave early. So I'd like to make the salat. This is not at all acceptable. Such a person should be pulled from his thobe and thrown out of the masjid. This is not your house to give adhan and iqamah in without the permission. Therefore, as Muslims, we are organized. We have authority in every place we go to whom we are supposed to obey. And look at the Masjid al-Haram of Mecca. You see 1 million people sitting, talking, walking, doing this, doing that. The moment the iqamah is given and the call for prayer is given, less than 30 seconds, they're all standing in rows, shoulder to shoulder, foot to foot. Nothing that is missing in that beautiful portrait. Perfection in 30 seconds. This is a religion of order. So, in short, no, ya akhi, you cannot go and just make adhan when you want to if the authority in the masjid restricts this to this person and this person and prevents others from doing this. This is their God-given right. Abdullah's second question was, if I go to a place and there are like 10 people, and I say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and I shake hands with each and every one. While shaking hands, I say, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum. One of them, he was engaged in speaking, and he shook hands but did not reply to me verbally. Is he sinful? Well, if those around him did not reply to the salam, the answer is yes, he's sinful. But if he shook hands with you and the one on the left, which is most likely, or on the right, would answer. See, if someone is shaking hands with the guy next to me and he's saying to him, Assalamu alaikum, I, whose turn did not come yet, I would probably say, Wa alaikum salam. And when he comes to me, I say, Wa alaikum salam. So if no one replied to your salam, including that person you're shaking hands with, he is sinful. However, I would highly recommend that you don't do this. Yani, giving salam, shaking hands to all 10 is okay. But saying salam, repeating it, is not from the sunnah. It's sufficient for you to come in the room and say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and shake hands with everyone else. You just simply say, how are you doing? Good morning. How are things? What's up? That's okay. But repeating Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum, this is not something that is recommended, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. A brother says, what is tawarruk, position, and iftirash? Is it the same for both men and women? The answer for the second question is yes. It is the same for both men and women. But what is tawarruk and what is iftirash? These are two ways of sitting during prayer. Generally speaking, throughout the prayer, whenever you sit down on the floor, whether it's between the two tashahhud, let me rephrase that, whether it is between the two sujood or in the first tashahhud, you always sit in iftirash. What does iftirash means? It is sitting on your left foot with your right foot erect. So I put my buttock sitting on my left foot. This is called iftirash, and it's done throughout the whole prayer. Tawarruk is only done in the last tashahhud, when the prayer itself has two tashahhud, the first one and the last one, as in the case of Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and Dhuhr. So what is tawarruk? Tawarruk is sitting on your wirk, and it is sitting on your left buttock, straight to the ground. So iftirash, I was sitting on my left foot. Now I'm sitting straight to the ground with my left foot underneath my right leg. So it comes out like this. And my right leg is erect with the toes as much as possible pointing to the Qibla. This is the sunnah. Now, if someone is finding it difficult, it's painful, it's this or that, it is okay to sit in any fashion you want, but the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ was to sit in this way. Huma says, can a girl perform her salat late on her wedding as she is with makeup, or can she perform the salat with the makeup with tayammum? First of all, the scenario is as this. A woman has a wedding, whether she's a bride or she's a guest. They go to the hairdressers after Asr time, and they are in the state of wudu. They put on makeup, and usually it is expensive. It's not something that you can just simply wash off and put it again in 5 minutes. They usually take like half an hour to get themselves adorned in such a fashion. And then they pray Maghrib and they go to the wedding. When it's Isha time, they've nullified, they broke their wudu. So what to do? Situation one, you have to remove the makeup and perform wudu, especially if the makeup is waterproof, water resistant. You have to wash your face. This is salat. This is something important. Yes, but Sheikh, I've paid $300, $500 to get these paints on my face. This is your problem. You have till midnight. After that, the prayer is invalid, and if you pray it after midnight, it would not be accepted because you deliberately skipped prayer on time. So what to do, Sheikh? You have another alternative. Such weddings usually take place, especially for a bride, once in a lifetime. Therefore, when you go to the hairdresser or to the salon and you get these makeups on you, first of all, make sure that you make wudu. So after you make or put these things on your face and you're already in the state of wudu, when you pray Maghrib, combine to it Isha. So you pray Maghrib 3 rak'ahs, and afterwards you pray Isha 4 rak'ahs, and after that you don't have any problem with breaking your wudu because you have prayed Isha. But if you did not do this, and it's Isha time, and you have till midnight, then put Cinderella in your mind. When it's midnight, it's over. So you cannot perform tayammum because tayammum is not permissible to use except in the inability to use water. So, excuse me, are you unable to use water? She says, no, I can use water, but then I have to wash my... Khalas, you have to wash your face. But someone who is unable, either because there is no water or because he is medically prohibited from touching water, in this case, he can make tayammum, which is dry ablution. An anonymous person says, if a boy and a girl fornicated before marriage, and after some years, they got married, they forgot to repent from their earlier sins, does Allah forgive them? The answer is yes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives everyone who comes to Him repenting with a heart filled with remorse. No matter what your sin is, even if you kill all of humanity, if you come in repentance to Allah with a heart filled of remorse and you seek His forgiveness, Allah will forgive you. So inshallah, think positive of Allah and don't worry. A sister says, what if a woman had a reason to perform ghusl and she was on a plane or while traveling? Well, this can fit a man or a woman. So a person traveling on an airplane or on a bus or on a train, and he gets into the state of major ritual impurity, either by nocturnal emission, by wet dreaming, or a woman who was in her menses and now she's pure. And there is no place on the airplane to perform ghusl. So what to do? The answer is you can perform tayammum. So look for a coat, a seat, or even the floor on an airplane. It's dusted, so you can hit it once, wipe your face, and wipe your hands in tayammum, and this uplifts your major ritual impurity, inshallah. Abdullah again from UK.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamullah.
Sheikh, my second question, I need to add something as well.
Okay.
Is that two brothers are sitting, let's say example, two brothers are sitting in the masjid, and I go to the first brother on the right, I give him the salam. He replies me. And I give the second brother on the left, assalamu alaikum. He extends his hand, says the wa alaikum salam, but he does not look at me. He's looking at the brother because he's on a conversation. He just says wa alaikum salam and he continues talking. So he does not look at me. This is my question. Is that, because I found it a bit odd and rude, like why does he not looking at me? He just gives the salam, replies to the salam, extends his hand, but does not look at me.
Okay.
So I asked the question, why did you do this? So I wanted to clarify on this.
Okay. Brother Abdullah's question is clear. So he goes to the masjid, he gives salam to the first person, assalamu alaikum. The guy replies, wa alaikum salam. He gives salam to the second person who does not look at him. So yes, he shakes hands, wa alaikum salam, and he's looking elsewhere. So Brother Abdullah is saying that this is rude. And I agree with you, this is rude, but it is not prohibited. And akhi, we have to be always not apologetic, but we have to always care for others. I don't know what the brother has in his mind, what problems are burdening his shoulders. I don't know if he is having a fight with his wife, or his child is in the hospital, or he is overburdened with debt, or any other reason. So I always give brothers an excuse. I pardon them. So as long as he replied to my salam verbally and he shook my hands, even if he did not look at me, so what? People usually, Abdullah, would take positions against those who interrogate and question and make them feel uneasy. So when someone says, Sheikh, I spoke to you that day and you were not very happy speaking to me. Sheikh, I was talking to you and you were answering someone else. People who interrogate me and keep on asking me questions like this, I would rather stay away. You don't want this. You'd like to be the kind of person that everyone loves you. Everyone cares for you. Everyone loves to sit and talk to you. But if you put people under pressure, why didn't you look at me when I said salam? Why was your hand so soft and not a tight grip? Maybe you don't want to shake hands with me. Maybe you are racist. You think that I am from this ethnicity or that, and you think low of me, or you look down at. Come on. I have like a gazillion people I can be friend with, and you're making this trouble for me? Please keep your distance and stay away from me. So we don't want to reach that limit, and may Allah Azza wa Jal expand our hearts to our Muslim brothers and sisters. This is all the time we have. Until we meet next time, I leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ba is for Allah, nothing but Allah. Ba is the beginning of Bismillah. Ta is for taqwa, bewaring of Allah. And Tha is for thawab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Ha is for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage. Kha is for Khatam, the seal of the prophethood given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.